One of the biggest mistakes I see people making when they're trying to lose weight is just focusing on the outcome. The number on the scales, the dress size, the holiday photo. And on the surface, that makes complete sense, doesn't it? Because of course we want the result. That's why we're doing it. But psychologically, that creates something very fragile in the mind. And I call it fragile hope. Fragile hope is when you're motivated, but only because you're chasing the end point. You're gripping onto it with dear life. And what happens is you create what I call a wobble window, the space where motivation dips and stress rises and life happens. And because you're not resourced enough in that process, you wobble. And the wobble is where relapse lives, especially when it comes to eating. So I'll give you a little example of that. So this is why traditional diets fail so often, because they're over obsessed with lose a stone in 6 weeks, drop 2 dress sizes, get holiday ready. You've seen all the adverts, haven't you? Everything is focused on the finish line, but the actual day-to-day experience is restriction and hunger and white-knuckling cravings and forcing exercise you absolutely despise. You're not loving the process, you're enduring it. So the brain registers the journey as a threat, not safety. And here's what's really important, and I want you to hear this. The nervous system will never make sustainable something that feels like suffering. It just won't. Because your brain is wired towards safety and pleasure. We're pleasure seekers, and it wants to move away from pain and deprivation. It feels too hard, too restrictive, too punishing. So your system keeps pulling you back. It's a survival wiring. My job is not just to focus on the outcome. You already know what you want. My job is to make the process physically easier and psychologically easier and neurologically safer. Because when the body feels safe, change becomes sustainable. We do this work at a deep neurological level where the programs around food, cravings, safety, reward, and emotional regulation live. And we're not forcing behaviour change on the surface. We are updating the wiring that's underneath it. So instead of battling yourself, you feel much more relaxed and the outcome becomes certain. And this is the shift most people never experience. When the process feels good, when eating feels calm, and when movement feels supportive, the urges go quiet. The mind stops seeing, the outcome as distant. It starts seeing it as certain, inevitable, because you're no longer fighting your way there. You're living your way there. If you've ever felt like you start strong, you wobble, and then you slip, it's not because you don't want the outcome enough. It's because the process doesn't feel safe enough yet. And once we change that, the relapse stops being part of the cycle, because you're on the journey itself, because something in your mind and body is willing to stay inside of that. Making the process feel safe is what makes the outcome inevitable.